Welcome back, guys, again for another review. I decided to sit down and watch another movie, and this one being 3's A Shroud from Wild Eye Releasing. It is another anthology film, and the first story is it's about this lady and her husband, and they're kind of having a little bit of marital problems, sorry. And they kind of get in a little bit of argument, and she leaves the house to like go to work, and he stays home for the day. And whenever she comes home for that night, she calls him on his cell phone, and she says, "Whenever you see me, whenever I knock on the door, whatever you do, don't open the door." And the husband is kind of like, "I don't know what game you're playing here, but I'm going to open it." And she goes, "No, whatever you do, don't open the door." And it keeps going back and forth with this. And this guy is kind of like paranoia driving him insane. He doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what's happening. He keeps trying to get information from her to figure out why he can't open the door. Is she in trouble? He's not sure. I thought the story was actually really good. I liked the idea of it, and it being a short film. There's only 3 stories here, but it being a short film, it was about 15 minutes long, and I liked it. But I thought that the story itself could have been a lot more executed, a lot better. There were certain shots, just like close-up shots of her mouth on the phone, and there was too many shots like that. Every time she would speak, it would just cut to a close-up shot of her mouth with a little bit of blood on it, talking into a phone, and there was like no emotion from her whatsoever. It was just that same shot over and over of "Don't answer the door, don't open the door, whatever you do, don't do it, don't do it," and it was just a little too much of that for the story. But I would like to. I like the story a lot. I just wish it was done a little bit better, a little bit more well executed. The guy who played the husband or whatever, he did a really good job with the paranoia setting in. There's a twist to it, just like a lot of different shorts. There's a twist to it, which I'm not going to ruin, so if you guys want to check it out, it's not spoiled for you. The second story, and it is by far the weakest story, and I'm not sure how to take this because the stories in this are taken 100% serious. And even the second story is taken serious, but there is a creature in this story, in the second story, that is absolutely the most ridiculous fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. It is the worst effect I've ever seen, and that's saying a lot considering I've seen a lot of really low budget horror films. But the story has to deal with a photographer who is obsessive over this one particular model that he's been photographing. And he tries to get in touch with her, he tries to talk to her and stuff, but her boyfriend is kind of like a bigger guy, and I guess he's scared of the boyfriend. He doesn't want anything to happen. But anyways, he goes on this whole thing where he's like, "I'm going to choose someone else now. I'm not going to choose her because I can't take it anymore." But there's like this weird like demon voice that keeps happening in his head, and it keeps giving him headaches. And so you're led to believe that he's eventually going to go crazy and kill the lady. But there's this weird fucking creature, and it's like the first time you see it, it's like, what the hell did I just see? What was that? What is that? And it's like this paper mache circular clown thing. Picture the creature from Basket Case, but in clown form and like fatter. That's what it was. It wasn't used with like stop motion or anything like that, like they did with Basket Case. It was just someone holding him from the back, pushing the paper mache creature into frame, and it just looks so fucking ridiculous. It was so silly. But I wasn't sure if that's what they were going for because everything else is taken 100% serious except for the look of that creature. So I was really confused on that. I was like, am I supposed to laugh at this or is this supposed to be serious? Did somebody think this was actually like a good looking creature? But it was by far the weakest of the 3 stories. The final story, and it is by far the best of the entire movie, and it is the single reason to watch the movie. It's called The Time Traveler's Knife, and it's about these group of girls who are at this pub, and they are celebrating Halloween, and there is a killer on the loose. And when someone dies, there's one particular girl that everybody keeps looking at, and she's claiming it's not her, it's not her, it's not her, and finally, like, she sees the killer comes over, and the killer stabs her, and all of a sudden she wakes up, and she's back at the beginning of the story, but she can see herself now, so it's like she traveled back in time, and she's trying to prevent the story from happening, so she's texting her friends and saying, "You need to get out of the house, there's a killer on the loose." And every single time that something goes wrong or she fails at what she's doing, she gets stabbed again, and it takes her back to a different point during the story. to try to help out or figure things out. And it was really well done. I really liked the story, and you guys definitely need to check this story out. I would actually like to see a feature-length version of this. I mean, of course, it being the short, I already know how everything happens and how everything ends. And I would, if they turn this into a feature-length story, I think it'd be really, really cool and really well done. But the short itself was very, very well done as well. These were all British films, and these were put out by Wild Eye Releasing. So if you guys want to check out a good anthology, like the first story is good. Like I said, I liked it. It could have been a lot better. The second story, it could have do without. If they exchanged out that second story with a different story, it could be a really good anthology. The third story makes the movie, and it makes the anthology worth watching. So definitely check this out just for that third story, guys. 3's A Shroud from Wild Eye Releasing, and I'll be back again soon to do some more reviews. See you guys.